God has a message He wants you to hear today, not just with your ears, but with the deepest part of your heart. He is not here to scare you, nor is He here to judge. He is here because He loves you deeply. And love always speaks the truth even when it hurts. So rest in His presence for a moment. Let the world wait. Let the noise fade and just listen. What He wants to tell you matters more than anything else you will hear today. You are exhausted. He sees it, not just the physical fatigue from a long day of hard work or sleepless nights. He is talking about a much deeper weariness, the kind that settles deep inside your chest, the kind that whispers that no matter how hard you try, something is still missing. You go through your daily routine, you check off every task, you keep pushing forward, but at the end of the day, you lie awake and feel a quiet emptiness that cannot be explained. That emptiness has a name. It is distance, distance from God. You've been giving your best energy to things that cannot satisfy your soul. You wake up and immediately reach for your phone. Emails pull you in one direction. The news drags you in another. Your worries about money, about people who misunderstand you, and about your future all compete for your attention before you have even taken a single mindful breath. You pour your energy into all of these external demands, and when you finally turn to Him, you have nothing left. Just a quick whisper before falling asleep, a hurried prayer at dinner, a few words mumbled in guilt, because deep down, you know, He deserves more than the scraps of your day. He does not say this to make you feel guilty. He says it because He is. Your Father, and a loving Father always tells His child the truth. And the truth is this: you have been shortchanging yourself far more than you have been shortchanging Him. Because every moment spent away from Him is a moment lived without the supernatural peace He has waiting for you, without the strength He wants to give you, and without the clarity that only comes from resting in His presence. He wants you to understand something simple today. He does not want a perfect life. He does not need polished prayers with all the right religious words. He does not require you to have life figured out before coming to Him. He just wants you, the real you, the tired you, the confused you, the one who sometimes feels like they are barely keeping it together. That is the one He is calling right now. That is the one He has always been calling. Come to Him as you are. That is where the journey starts. Now, consider this question, sir, for a moment. When was the last time you gave the Lord your very first thought in the morning? Not your second thought. Not the thought after checking your text messages. Not the frantic prayer when something goes wrong. Your very first thought, the one that rises before the world has a chance to rush in. When was that last first thought of Him He remembers? The days when it was. He remembers when your heart was soft and open. When you would wake up and, before doing anything else, simply whisper His name. Those mornings were different, weren't they? There was a quietness to them, a settled feeling that no matter what the day brought, you would not face it alone. You had His presence wrapped around you like a lingering warmth. He went everywhere with you and wants to give you that again. He never took it away. You simply wandered the way His beloved children sometimes do. And that is okay, because wandering is not the end of the story. Returning is. And today, right now, in this very moment, you are returning. Whether you realize it or not, the fact that you are here listening means your heart is already turning back toward home. And home, dear child, is wherever He is. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let us hear what He sees when He looks at you. He sees someone deeply loved, someone who was made with purpose and intention. He sees someone whose life is not an accident, whose days are not random, whose struggles are not meaningless. He sees the whole story from the very first moment. He thought of you before you were even born to this exact second. And He tells you with full certainty the story is not over. The best parts have not even been written yet. But here is the thing about stories. They require presence. They require the main character to actually show up. And He is asking you to show up, not just in the big moments, Not just in the crisis when you have no other option, but in the ordinary ones. The quiet Tuesday mornings, the slow Wednesday afternoons, the moments between the moments when nothing dramatic is happening, but time is still moving and life is still being shaped. Show up then. Come to him then. Because that is where the deepest work happens. Not in the emergencies, but in the everyday. Think about the people you love most in your life. Think about what makes those relationships feel real and close. It is not the grand gestures. It is not the occasional big conversation. It is the small, consistent presence. It is the cup of tea shared without any agenda. The text message that says, "I was thinking of you." The look across the room that says, "I am here." And I am glad you are here too. That is what love looks like when it is real. And that is exactly what he is asking from you. He does not want to be the one you call only in an emergency. He wants to be the one you talk to all day long. The one whose voice you recognize in the middle of the noise. The one whose peace you carry with you into every meeting, every difficult conversation, every moment of uncertainty. He wants to be woven into the fabric of your ordinary life, not just pulled out like a fire extinguisher when everything is burning. And he knows, dear child, how the world makes this hard. The world is loud. It is designed to keep you distracted. Every screen, every notification, every demand on your time is being engineered to pull you away from stillness. The enemy of your soul knows that if he can just keep you busy enough, tired, enough distracted enough, he never has to fight you directly. He just has to make sure you never get quiet enough to hear him. Because when you hear him, everything changes. When his voice reaches your heart, the fear loses its grip. The confusion clears, the weight lifts, and that is the last thing the enemy wants for you. So he keeps the noise going. He makes sure there is always something urgent competing for your attention. Another problem to solve, another person to compare yourself to, another worry to rehearse in your mind at 2 in the morning. He does not need to destroy you dramatically. He just needs to keep you exhausted and distracted so that you slowly drift further and further from the source of everything making you alive. But today, right now, we are breaking that pattern. Today you are choosing differently. Today you are sitting still long enough to let his voice reach the part of you that has been waiting to hear it. And he wants that part of you to know he has been speaking all along. He never went quiet. He never gave up on getting through to you. Every sunrise was his way of saying good morning. He is still here. Every moment of unexpected peace in the middle of a hard day was him reminding you that he is closer than you think. Every time something that could have gone terribly wrong somehow worked out. That was not luck. That was him, your father, working on your behalf, even when you were not paying attention. Do not forget what he has done for you. This is important. When the present feels heavy and the future feels uncertain, he wants you to look back. Remember the debt that somehow got paid. Remember the sickness that did not take you. Remember the relationship that was restored when it seemed impossible. Remember the night you felt completely alone and something shifted in you, and you felt just for a moment that you were going to be okay. That was not a coincidence. That was his hand on your life. He has been faithful every single time. Not once has he made a promise to you and then walked away from it. Not once has he looked at the mess you were in and decided it was too complicated for him to handle. Not once has he looked at your failure and said, "That is too much. You have gone too far." He is done with you. He has never said that. He will never say that because that is not who he is. And more importantly, that is not what you mean to him. You mean everything to him. He wants to say that again so it lands deeply in your chest. You mean everything to him, not you and everyone else. As if you are just one item in a long list. You, specifically, individually, with your exact name and your exact story and your exact set of struggles and gifts and questions and fears. You matter to him. That specifically, that personally, that completely. Before we go further, let us pause and ask a question from the heart. If what you are hearing right now is touching something inside you, if these words are reaching a place that has been quiet for too long, do not keep it to yourself. Share this with someone who needs it. Because somewhere out there, someone is sitting exactly where you were sitting. before you press play. Someone is tired and feeling far from him and wondering if he even notices. You could be the reason they find their way back. And if this channel has been a place where you've heard his voice, consider subscribing so that you never miss a message meant just for you. Now, let us keep going, because he has so much more he wants to say. He wants to talk to you, his child, about the greatest danger in your life right now. It is not the problem you are facing. It is not the enemy who opposes you. It is not the uncertainty of the future. The greatest danger in your life is the possibility that you will live your entire life close to him, but never truly close to him. Knowing facts about him without truly knowing him. Knowing him. Talking about his love without ever letting it fully into your heart. There is a major difference between sitting in the same room with someone and actually being there with them. You can be physically present, yet still remain emotionally miles away. You can attend church every Sunday and still feel completely alone on Monday morning. You can say all the right things in your prayers and still feel like you are shouting into an empty sky. And if that has been your experience, he wants you to know it does not have to be that way. That hollow religion is not what he designed. He designed you for something alive, something real, something that goes beyond ritual and routine and gets to the actual beating heart of what it means to be loved by the living God. He wants you to experience him, not just believe. He wants you to feel his presence, not just understand the concept of it. He wants you to come to him, not because you feel obligated, but because your soul is hungry. And he is the only one who can truly feed it. There is a prayer that comes from obligation. It is the prayer that starts when you feel guilty for not praying earlier. It is rushed, driven by lists and sounds, like a report more than a conversation. Here are my needs. Here are my worries. Please fix them. Oh, man. And he receives it. He does, because any time you turn toward him matters. But that kind of prayer is like eating food without tasting it. It gives you something, but you miss the richness of what a real meal can be. And then there is the other kind of prayer. The kind where you come with nothing to prove and nowhere to rush. Where you sit down and say, I am here, I am tired, and I do not even know what I need right now. But I know I need you. And you just stay there quiet, open. And in that stillness, he begins to speak. Not always, in words you can hear with your ears. Sometimes in a peace that slowly settles over you like morning light. Sometimes in a thought that comes from somewhere deeper than your own thinking. Sometimes in a simple, settled knowing that you are not alone, that things are going to be okay, that he holds all of this in his hands. That is the prayer he is inviting you into. The kind that changes you not because you said the right words, but because you showed up and let him meet you. He wants you to understand what happens in the invisible world when you make space for him. He wants you to grasp even a fraction of what is actually occurring when you close your eyes and turn your heart toward him. You are not just thinking positive thoughts. You are not just calming yourself down. You are stepping into a conversation with the one who holds the universe in place. You are aligning yourself with the most powerful force in existence, and everything that comes against you in this life has to take note. When you pray, things move. Not always in ways you can immediately see, but they move. Situations that seemed permanently fixed begin to shift. Doors that were closed begin to open. Hearts that were hardened begin to soften. Not because of your eloquence, not because you used the right formula, but because you came to him and he is faithful to respond. That is who he is. That is his nature. He hears and he acts. The question is not whether he is listening. The question is whether you are speaking. The question is whether they are carving out space in their day to actually come to him. And he knows that sounds simple, but simple is not always easy, because the moment they decide to be still, everything in their world will seem to suddenly become urgent. The laundry will call, the phone will buzz, and their minds will start running through everything they forgot to do. The enemy knows that stillness is where they become dangerous to him, and he will throw everything he has at them to prevent it. But they are stronger than that. With his help, they are far stronger than that. So when the distractions come, and he wants them to do something radical. He wants them to choose him anyway. He wants them to say, not right now, to every other voice. and he wants them to stay. Just stay. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever they can give, because a few intentional minutes with him is worth more than hours of frantic activity without him. Let him show them what those minutes will do for them. They will do what sleep cannot do. They will restore them in a way that no vacation can touch. They will give them a clarity that no self-help book can provide, because he is the source. Everything else is just a reflection. Everything else is downstream. And when they go to the source, they get something pure, something original, something that actually works. He also wants them to understand that when they choose him, they are not just changing their own lives. They are changing the lives of everyone around them. And their children are watching them. Their friends are watching them. Their co-workers, even the ones who would never admit it, are watching them, and they are learning something every day about what it looks like to trust him. When they see them under pressure and still at peace, they wonder. When they see them go through something difficult without falling apart, they ask questions. When they see the difference in them, something stirs in them, a longing for the same thing. They are a living message. Every single day, whether they say a word about faith or not, their life is preaching something. The question is, what is it preaching? Is it preaching that he is real and good and worth trusting? Or is it preaching the same anxiety and exhaustion as everyone else? He is not asking for perfection. He is asking for authenticity. He is asking them to let what is real in their heart show up in the way they live. And the only way that happens is if what is in their heart is actually him. If they have been spending time with him. If they have been letting him into the quiet places, the honest places, the places they do not show anyone else. Because that is where the real transformation happens. Not in the performance, but in the private. Not on the stage, but in the secret place. They are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If they would like to help them continue this work, please visit PayPal links below. Their kindness means more than words can express. To his children, he wants to talk to them now about something that he knows is heavy on their heart. He wants to talk about fear because he sees it in them. He sees the fear about money, whether there will be enough. He sees the fear about relationships, whether they are loved, whether they matter to the people in their life. He sees the fear about the future, whether things are going to work out, whether the plans they have made will actually come to pass. He sees all of it, and he wants you to know none of this surprises him. Nothing is too big for him to handle. But here's what fear does that he wants you to understand. Fear lies. Fear takes the worst possible view of your situation and presents it to you as the most likely outcome. It says the worst will happen. It says you are not enough. It says things are never going to change. It whispers that he has forgotten you, does not care, or is too busy with bigger things. Every single one of those thoughts is a lie. A direct contradiction of who he is and what he has told you about himself. He promised he would never leave you. That is not a conditional statement. He did not say he would never leave you unless things got really bad or unless you failed too many times. He said never. That means in the debt he is there. In the diagnosis, he is there. In the loneliness, in the confusion, in the aftermath of the mistake you cannot believe you made, he is present, attentive, working on your behalf, even when you cannot feel him. And when the fear comes, as it will come, he wants you to do this one thing. Speak to him, not a performance, not a rehearsed prayer. Just talk to him the way you would talk to the one person in your life who you know without any doubt loves you completely. Tell him what you are afraid of. Tell him what keeps you awake. Tell him the thing you are most ashamed of. Tell him the dream you have almost given up on. Tell him everything because he already knows, but he wants to hear you say it. He wants you to bring it to him instead of carrying it alone. And when you do, something happens. When you put words to your fear and lay it at his feet, it begins to lose its power over you. The thing that was enormous in the dark becomes smaller in the light of his presence. It does not always disappear immediately. He is honest with you about that. Sometimes the process takes time. But what changes immediately is that you are no longer carrying it alone. And that changes everything. He is a good father. He wants to say that directly. He is not the kind of father who stands at a distance, arms crossed, waiting for you to earn your way back into his good graces. He is the kind of father who sees you coming from far off and runs toward you, who does not wait for the apology before opening his arms, who throws a celebration not because you performed well but because you came home. That is who he is. That is what you mean to him. Now he wants to address something gently. He knows there are people listening today who feel like they have wandered too far, who have made choices that they are certain have disqualified them from his love, who carry a weight of shame so heavy that they cannot imagine walking back into his presence without it crushing them under its weight. He wants to speak directly to that person right now. You have not gone too far. There is no too far with him. The distance you feel is real, but it is not permanent, and it is not on his end. He is exactly where he has always been, in the same place. He was when you first knew him, when you first felt his love. The door has not moved. You have, and all you have to do is turn around. That is it. Just turn around, and he will meet you there in the turning before you have even taken a step back toward him. He does not require you to clean yourself up before you come. He does not need you to have stopped every bad habit and fixed every broken thing before he is willing. He is ready to receive them. They can come as they are, with all their mess and doubts, and with regrets still raw and unresolved. He asked them to let him do the cleaning, to let him be the one who does the fixing. That is what he is there for. That is what grace is for. Grace is not a reward for those who got it right. Grace is a gift for the people who know they got it wrong. And if they know they got it wrong, they are exactly the people grace is designed for. They must not let shame convince them to stay away from the one who is the only one who can remove it. He wants to speak to them right now about something that perhaps no one else has said to them recently. He wants to talk to them about their worth. Not the kind of worth that is measured by what they have, accomplished, what they own, who approves of them, or how many people follow their lives on a screen. He is talking about the worth that existed before they ever did a single thing, the worth that was woven into them in the moment he first conceived of them in his heart. They were not born into this world to earn their place in it. They did not arrive as a blank slate that needed to accumulate enough achievements before they deserved love. They arrived already, loved, already chosen, already declared worthy by the one whose opinion is the only one that holds eternal weight. And he wants them to let that truth sink all the way down into the places where they have believed something different, because he knows what they have believed. He has heard the internal conversation they have with themselves in the quiet moments when no one else is listening. He has heard them call themselves not enough. He has heard them rehearse the list of their failures as if it were evidence that his love for them has limits. He has heard them compare themselves to the people around them and conclude that somehow they receive more, that somehow they are better suited for a good life than they are. And he wants them to hear him say clearly and gently and with full authority, every single word of that conversation is wrong. They are enough, not because they have done enough or become enough, but because he made them, and he does not make things that are not enough. Every gift inside them, the ones the world has noticed, and the ones that have never yet been seen, they are real. They are intentional. They were placed there by his hand for a purpose that has their name on it, and no amount of failure, no accumulation of bad seasons, no collection of regrets can undo what he has put inside them. It is still there, all of it waiting to be surrendered to him so that together they can use it for something that will last far beyond the length of their lives on this earth. Stop letting the voice of the world define them. The world is a poor judge of worth. It measures by the wrong things. It celebrates the visible and dismisses the hidden. It applauds the loud and overlooks the faithful. It promotes the perfect and abandons the broken. But he does not operate by the world's measurements. He looks at the heart. He sees what is actually there. And what he sees in them right now, with all their imperfections still intact, is someone he is deeply proud to call his own. And he wants to speak to them now about the waiting, because he knows for many of them, the hardest part of trusting him is not the crisis itself. It is the silence in between. It is the prayer they have prayed 100 times with no visible answer. It is the hope they have carried that has grown heavy from being held so long. It is the promise they believe he made to them that has not yet come to pass, and the quiet fear that maybe they doubted him. Maybe it is not coming. Maybe it was never really his to give. He wants to address that fear directly. The waiting is not a punishment. The waiting is not evidence that he has changed his mind. The waiting is not a sign that they did something to delay what he promised. The waiting is part of the process. And that process is not separate from the promise. The waiting is where he does some of his deepest work. The waiting is where character is forged, where faith is tested and strengthened, where the roots of their trust in him go deeper than they could ever go. In a season of easy answers and quick results, consider a seed. When it is planted in the ground, nothing appears to be happening. The surface looks unchanged. To a watching eye, it seems like nothing is there, like the ground swallowed the seed. And that is the end of the story. But underground, something profound is taking place. The seed is breaking open. It is releasing everything it has been holding inside. It is pushing roots down into the dark so that when it finally breaks the surface and reaches for the light, it will have what it needs to stand. They are in that underground place right now. And he needs them to trust the process even when they cannot see the growth. He needs them to believe that the quiet seasons are not empty seasons. He needs them to hold on to what he told them in the light while they walk through the dark. Because the morning is coming, the surface is going to break. And when it does, what comes up is going to be stronger and more beautiful and more deeply rooted than anything that could have emerged without the waiting. They must not give up the day before the breakthrough, nor abandon the prayer the morning before the answer comes. They cannot walk away from the promise in the last hour before it is fulfilled. He knows that sounds like something people say, but he says it to them now as their father, who sees the whole timeline, who knows exactly where they are in the story, who can see the page they are on and the pages that are coming. And he is telling them with everything he is to keep going just a little further. The waiting is almost over. He wants to talk to them now about something he knows is at the center of everything they are facing. He wants to discuss trust. Real trust. Not the kind that is easy when things are going well, but the kind that holds on when everything is falling apart. The kind that says, I do not understand what is happening right now, but I know who is in charge, and I choose to trust him even in this. That kind of trust is not built in a moment. It is built over time through relationship, through experience, through the slow accumulation of evidence that he is good. And that evidence is all around them, if they are willing to look at his. In the meal that appeared when they did not know how they were going to feed their family. It is in the moment the doctor gave a report that was better than anyone expected. It is in the friendship that came out of nowhere exactly when they needed it most. It is in the fact that they are still here, still breathing, still able to hear this message when there were moments in their life when things could have gone very differently. He has built a case for your trust your entire life. Every faithful act, every moment of provision, every time he kept you safe without you even knowing. The danger you were in, all of it is evidence. And he asked you to look at that evidence and let it quiet the fear that says you cannot trust him with what you are facing now. Because what you are facing now is not beyond him. Whatever it is, whatever the size of the mountain you are staring at right now, he has moved mountains before. Sometimes he removes them entirely. Sometimes he leads you over them. And you discover in the climbing that you are stronger than you knew. Sometimes he takes you around them by a path you never would have found on your own. But he always gets you through. Always. Not sometimes. Not just when you have done everything right. Always. That is his track record with you. That is what your history with him looks like. And that history is worth something. It is worth more than the fear you are feeling in this moment. So he is asking you to let it outweigh the fear. To let your memory of his faithfulness be louder than the voice of anxiety, to look at what he has done and say, if he did that, then he will do this now. He is your provider. He is your healer. He is your Protector. He is the one who goes before you and prepares the way. He is the one who walks beside you when the road is hard. He is the one who carries you when you have nothing left. He is all of these things, not just in general, but specifically for you. With your name attached with your situation in mind, with a plan already in motion that you cannot yet see, but that is already being worked out on your behalf. This ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us. Links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. He wants to take a moment now and speak to you about the people around you, because He knows that some of your pain is not just internal. Some of your heaviest weight comes from your relationships, from people who have disappointed you, from people who have said things that cut deep and left marks you are still carrying, from people you loved who did not love you back the way you needed, from people who were supposed to protect you and did not. He sees all of that, every wound, every betrayal, every time someone's carelessness or cruelty left a mark on you. He was there in every single one of those moments, and He wants you to know He did not look away. He was not distracted or indifferent. Your pain mattered to Him then, and it matters to Him now. But He wants to say something about those wounds that might be hard to hear. If you are holding them, if you are gripping them tightly, if you are letting them define you or limit you or keep you from fully stepping into what He has for you, then those wounds are still costing you something, and they have already cost you enough. The person who hurt you should not get to keep taking from you indefinitely, and the way to stop that from happening is not to pretend it did not hurt. It is to bring it to Him and let Him begin the work of healing it. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was okay. Forgiveness is not going back and pretending the relationship is what it never was. Forgiveness is the decision to stop letting someone's past actions continue to steal your peace today. It is releasing the grip not for their sake but for yours, because He did not design you to carry bitterness. It is too heavy and makes you too slow. And there are places He wants to take you that you cannot reach while dragging that weight behind you. So bring Him those wounds. Let Him look at them with you. Let Him speak truth over the lies those experiences planted in you. The lie that says you are not worth loving. The lie that says people always leave. The lie that says you must perform to earn acceptance. The lie that says trusting people always leads to pain. He wants to dismantle those lies one by one and replace them with the truth about who you are and how deeply you are loved, because that is what changes you from the inside. Not self-discipline, not effort, not willpower. Just truth. The truth of His word spoken into the deepest places of your heart, replacing the false beliefs that have been running your life without your permission. That is the work He wants to do in you. And He cannot do it fully unless you bring Him the broken places. He wants to speak now to the one who is carrying grief, the one who has experienced a loss so deep that some days it is hard to imagine the world continuing to turn as though nothing happened. You have buried someone you loved or lost something that felt like a part of your very self. You have stood at the edge of an absence that does not have words. And in that place, perhaps you have wondered where He was. Perhaps you have asked why. Perhaps the silence that met your questions felt more like abandonment than anything else. He wants you to know that He was weeping with you. When you wept, He wept not as a distant observer who decided pain was a necessary tool, but as a father whose heart broke with yours in that moment. Grief is not a sign that something has gone wrong in His plan. Grief is love with nowhere left to go in this earthly moment. And He holds every tear you have cried in His hands. Not one of them has been wasted. Not one of them has gone unnoticed. Not a single one has fallen to the ground without meaning. The one you lost is not forgotten by Him. The love that existed between you does not simply dissolve because the physical form is gone. Love is eternal, and He who is the author of love knows exactly how to tend to it, even in the space that loss creates. He cannot tell you everything right now. The full picture is beyond what words can hold, but He can tell you this: He is still good. Even here, even in this, even in the places that feel like the end, He is still good, and He is still at work. and the story is still not over. Grieve his child. Do not rush yourself. Do not perform recovery for the comfort of others. Grief is a sacred process, and he will walk through every step of it with you. But do not grieve as one who has no hope, because hope is not lost. It is just waiting in a place you have not yet arrived, and he will lead you there. He promises. Now he wants to speak to you about purpose, because he knows that question lives in you. The question of why you are here, what you are supposed to be doing with your life, whether the life you are living right now matches the life you were created for. That question is not restlessness or ingratitude. It is evidence that he put something real in you, a design, a calling, a specific reason for your existence that is not interchangeable with anyone else's. You are not here by accident. You were not born into this era by mistake. The combination of everything you are, your gifts, your experiences, the things that make you laugh and the things that break your heart, all of it was intentionally designed to make you effective for a specific purpose that only you can fulfill. And that purpose is connected to him. It flows out of your relationship with him. It is not something you can find alone by following trends or copying someone else's path. It is something that is revealed as you walk with him. So many people spend their entire lives trying to find their purpose while avoiding the one relationship in which their purpose is held. It is like searching for a map in every room of the house except the room where the map actually is. And he is standing in that room holding the map, waiting for you to come in. He wants to show you why you are here. He wants to unfold the specific design he built into you and help you understand how it connects to what is happening in the world around you. There are people who are waiting for you to step into your purpose. There are situations that you specifically are uniquely equipped to walk into and make a difference. There are gifts inside you that have not yet been fully used. And he is eager, truly eager to begin working all of that out with you. But this requires partnership. He will not drag you into your purpose against your will. He will not override your choices. He works in cooperation with your willingness. When you say yes to him, when you open your hands and release control, when you say you trust him to lead you, that is when things begin to move. That is when doors begin to open that you could not have opened yourself. That is when the path begins to clear in ways that look miraculous to everyone watching, but which are simply the natural result of a life that is aligned with its creator. Say yes today. Not a conditional yes. Not a yes if things go the way you expect. Just a simple surrendered yes, I trust you lead me. And watch what he does with that. He wants to speak to you now about rest. Real rest. Not just the absence of activity, but the kind of deep rest that restores you at a level that sleep alone cannot reach. The rest that comes from trusting someone else to carry what you have been carrying alone. He told you that you could come to him when you are heavy, and he would give you rest. That was not a metaphor. That was a direct offer and invitation with an actual result attached to it. Come to him heavy, and you will leave lighter. Come to him exhausted, and you will leave renewed. Come to him with the burden, and he will show you how to carry it differently. Or better yet, he will take it from you entirely. You were not built to run at the pace you have been running. The constant output with no real input. The giving and giving and giving without ever stopping to be refilled. That is not sustainable for anyone, and he never intended it to be your normal. He built into the rhythm of life a pattern of work and rest, of output and input, of movement and stillness. And when you ignore that pattern, when you push past the rest he designed for you begin to break down, not because you are weak, but because you are violating the design. Rest is not laziness. Rest is obedience. Rest is the act of trusting that the world will keep moving if you stop for it. In this moment, their value is not measured by productivity, that they are loved not for what they produce, but for who they are. And sitting still long enough to actually receive that truth, letting it move from their head into their heart, is one of the most important things they can do. But a question remains. When was the last time they truly rested? When was the last time they sat somewhere quiet without a device in hand and just breathed and simply let themselves be still? When was the last time they stopped long enough to hear their own heart, let alone hear his? If they cannot remember, that tells them something. It tells them that they have been running on empty for longer than they know. And he is inviting them right now to stop, pause, and receive. They do not have to earn the right to rest. They do not have to finish everything first. They do not have to resolve every single problem before they are allowed to be at peace. Peace is not the reward at the end of all their striving. Peace is what he gives them in the middle of it. Peace is what happens when they bring him into the situation instead of trying to handle it all on their own. Peace is not an absence of problems. Peace is his presence in the midst of them. And that peace is available to them right now. Right now, with everything unresolved, with the bills still unpaid, with the relationship still complicated with the future. Still uncertain, his peace can settle on them right now if they will let it, if they will stop long enough to receive it, if they will choose to trust him with what they cannot control, and let themselves rest in what he has promised. He keeps his promises, every single one. That is not a small thing. In a world where promises are broken casually and trust is constantly violated, he is the one constant. He is the one voice that has never said something he did not mean. He is the one relationship in their lives that has never failed them. Even in the moments when it felt like he was silent, he was not absent. He was working in the silence. He was preparing things that they could not yet see. He was getting ready to do something in their lives that was going to take their breath away. They must not mistake his silence for absence. They must not mistake his timing for neglect, nor mistake the quiet seasons for abandonment. Some of the most important work he does in their lives happens in the seasons that feel the most empty. The waiting is not wasted time. The wilderness is not a punishment. The long season of preparation is not evidence that he has forgotten them. It is evidence that what he is building in them, and for them, is worth taking the time to build properly. He does not do things halfway. He does not build things that fall apart. When he makes something, he makes it to last. And what he is building in their lives right now, even in the parts that feel uncertain and incomplete, is going to be more beautiful and more solid than anything they could have constructed for themselves. Trust the process. Trust the builder. Trust him. If these messages have brought peace to their hearts, strengthened their faith, or reminded them of God's love, please consider supporting this ministry through PayPal links below. Together, they can continue sharing hope and God's word with countless souls around the world. He wants to speak to them now about the power of gratitude. Not gratitude as some rigid discipline you perform just because you think you should. Nor is it the forced thankfulness that bites its lip and merely says the right words while the heart feels something completely different. He is talking about real gratitude. The kind that comes from truly seeing what is right before you. The kind that opens your eyes to the abundance that has always been there, even during seasons that felt like total scarcity. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces available to you. When you cultivate a genuine awareness of what he has given you, something shifts in the atmosphere of your soul. The lens through which you see your life changes. The same circumstances that look like a burden begin to look like a gift. The things you rushed past in your hurry to get to what you wanted begin to reveal themselves as the things you would miss most if they were gone. He wants you to practice this not as a religious exercise, but as a daily act of seeing clearly. When you wake up in the morning before the world rushes in, take a single moment to notice something. The breath in your lungs, the light coming through the window, the sound of the world waking up around you. These are not small things. They are the constant, faithful gifts that he has been giving you every single day without your noticing. And when you begin to notice them, when you receive them, with awareness, something opens in you. Gratitude also does something specific to fear. Fear thrives on a focused attention on what is lacking. It narrows your vision until all you can see is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Gratitude does the opposite. It widens your vision and pulls you out of the narrow tunnel of what is wrong, showing you the landscape of what is right, of what is good, of what he has already provided and is still providing. And in that wider view, fear loses some of its power. It is harder to be afraid when you are genuinely thankful. thankfulness and terror cannot fully occupy the same space, so he is inviting you to this practice. Not once a week, not when things are going well. Every single day, name 3 things you are grateful for. Before you name one thing you are worried about, let your acknowledgement of his goodness precede your presentation of your need. Let what he has already done form the foundation of how you approach what you are still asking him to do. And watch how that shift changes everything about the way your days feel. Let's talk together about comparison now, because he sees how much time you spend measuring your life against someone else's. He sees you watching what other people seem to have, what they seem to have achieved, how smoothly their life appears to move. And he sees you returning to your own life, feeling smaller, slower, somehow behind. And he wants to tell you gently but clearly, comparison is stealing something from you. It is stealing your ability to see your own life clearly. Every person you are comparing yourself to is carrying something you cannot see. Every life that looks effortless from the outside has weight to it that is invisible from where you stand. You are not seeing the full picture. You are comparing your internal reality, which you know completely, to someone else's external presentation, which you know almost not at all. That comparison was never going to be fair. It was never going to be accurate, and it was never going to lead you anywhere. He wants you to know your path is not theirs. Your timeline is unique. Your gifts and weaknesses are yours alone. He designed every single one of you differently on purpose with a plan. The life he has for you cannot be measured by comparing it to the path he has for someone else. It is like trying to judge a bird's own success by watching how a fish swims. A different design, another purpose, and a different standard for flourishing. He wants you to stop looking sideways and start looking up. He wants you to stop asking why others have what they have and start asking him what he has for you. He has a plan for you that cannot be found on anyone else's path. Something made to fit you specifically, something crafted for the exact shape of who you are. And you will never discover it while watching someone else's story. Your journey is your own. It is valid. It is enough. And he is still writing it. The chapter you are in right now might not be the one you would have chosen, but it is the chapter leading to what comes next, and your next step is in his hands. So keep your focus on him, not on the people beside you. Now he wants to speak to you about something he knows many of you struggle to fully believe. He wants to reveal how he sees your future, not how you view it with all its uncertainty and questions and fear of what could go wrong, but how he sees it from his vantage point, holding all of time in a single glance. Your future is never a mystery to him. The plans he has for you are not vague intentions that he is hoping will somehow work out. They are specific, deliberate, and they were laid out before you were born. And they are good. Not good meaning easy, or comfortable, or effortless. Good in the sense of meaningful, purposeful, fruitful, and filled with more than you are currently hoping for. He knows that you have been disappointed before. He knows there were things you hoped for that did not happen as expected. He knows your definition of good is being reshaped by life in ways that have sometimes felt like loss. And he wants to gently remind you his definition of good goes deeper than yours. What he has for you is not simply what you asked for. Sometimes it is better than that. Sometimes it is something you did not even know to ask for. Sometimes your desires were good, but what he has in mind is far greater. Trust his version of good even when it looks different from yours, even when the path ahead does not match the one you planned, even when the timing is slower than you wanted, or the shape is different than you imagined. Trust that he is not giving you less. Trust that he is giving you more in the ways that ultimately matter. Trust that the future he sees for you, the one already written in his mind, is worth the journey to get there. He is not leading you into a trap, nor is he withholding the good while handing out the ordinary. He is a father who loves his children with a love that has no limit and no end. That love is active in your future. Right now, today, even as you hear these words, the future is not something waiting to be decided. It is already held, already prepared, already soaked in his faithfulness. You simply have not arrived there yet, but you will. Keep walking. He wants you to take a deep breath right now and trust, to feel the air fill their lungs and slowly leave. God wants them to notice in This moment that they are alive, that their heart is beating, and that they are here, having made it through everything that tried to stop them. And God wants them to know none of this is an accident. They are alive because He has a purpose for their lives that is not yet fully fulfilled. They are still here because their story is not over. They are still breathing because He is not done with them. The enemy wanted to stop them. Circumstances tried to derail them. Their own mistakes sometimes seem like they would be the end of everything. But here, they are still standing still, seeking, still reaching for something more than what they have settled for. That reaching is God pulling them towards something. That longing is a signal, not a complaint. It is evidence that they were made for more than the ordinary, and deep in their spirit they know it. He made them for greatness. Not the kind of greatness the world celebrates, not fame, wealth, or influence for its own sake, but the greatness that matters in eternity. The greatness of a life fully surrendered to its purpose. The greatness of love poured out without reservation. The greatness of a single act of kindness that changes the direction of someone's entire life. That is the greatness He is calling them toward. And it begins with a decision made in this moment to stop settling for less than everything He has planned for them. They must not shrink to fit a life never big enough to hold them. They must not compare themselves to others or use another's pace as the standard for their own. Their story is theirs. Their timing is His, and their path is specific, laid out with their gifts and their weaknesses and their history and their future all taken into account. They must trust it, walk it, and keep their eyes on Him, not on the people around them. They will watch what unfolds. They are not behind. They are not too late, nor are they disqualified. They are exactly where He can work with them, and that is exactly where He wants His dear children. Every video is created with prayer time and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through PayPal, supporters help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God blesses them abundantly. He wants to speak now to the one who has been pretending that everything is fine, the one who has mastered the art of showing the world a face that does not match what's happening on the inside. The one who says, "I am okay," when asked, but carries something deep in their chest that is far from okay. He sees them, not just the version of them that they present to the world, the real version, the one underneath, and He wants them to know they do not have to pretend with Him. They can lay down this performance right here, right now, in the privacy of this moment when it is just them and His voice. They can let the mask come off. They can say the true thing, admit that they are struggling, and confess that they are scared. They can acknowledge that the life they are living does not feel like the life they were promised or hoped for. They can say all of that to Him without any fear of what He will think or how He will respond, because His response is always the same. He comes close, not away close. Every time they bring Him something real, He moves toward it. Every time they drop, when people drop the pretense and speak their inner truth, God is there to receive them. In that connection, a real shift begins. The burdens they once carried alone become a weight shared with Him. And shared paths are always lighter than isolated ones. Humans were never designed to carry their lives alone. That was never His intention. He created people for connection, first with Him, then with others. When they are walking through something painful in isolation, cut off from the love God meant to surround them with, they operate far below the capacity they were designed for. They are like cars trying to run on roads they were never built to travel. The friction is real and the wear is heavy. God asks them right now to open up, to let Him in and welcome the community He has placed around them, because they do not have to suffer alone. They were never meant to. He speaks to them now about the storms, not the brief trials that quickly pass. The ones that shake the windows for an hour, leaving behind clean, fresh air. He is describing the long storms, the seasons that do not end in a day or a week or even a season. The trials that have lasted so long they have nearly forgotten what life was like before. The hardships that have tested their endurance in ways that they did not know they were capable of enduring. Yet, many are still standing. God sees them holding on through the rain. He witnesses the massive effort required to keep believing when the downpour never ends. He notes the deep discipline needed to trust when the winds continue to howl, and the ground under their feet still does not feel entirely solid. He wants them to know their perseverance is never going unnoticed. Every single day they choose to trust him in the storm is an act of profound faith that he honors. Every morning they rise to face another hard day, keeping their hand in his is a victory that matters more than they know. But he also reveals a truth about trials that many have not fully realized yet. Storms are not merely random hardships happening to them. They are actually happening for them. Not because God sent pain to hurt them, but because he uses adversity to expose truth. The storm reveals what lies inside a person. It shows them what they are made of, not their deepest fears, but the resilience that actually exists. Often what surfaces under the intense pressure of trials is a deep, quiet strength and a capacity for faithfulness they would never have discovered in easy seasons. Some aspects of character can only be learned in the storm. A truer version of themselves emerges only when everything else has been stripped away, and all that remains is their core, the most authentic, essential part of who they are. That stronger version, the one forged in the fire and shaped by the storm, is closer to who God always knew they could be than the comfortable self that easy seasons produce. He is not wasting their storm. He is working through it, and when the storm finally lifts and he promises it will, the person who emerges will be someone the trial could not destroy. That person will be them stronger, deeper, and more capable of the life he planned than when their trial began. He urges them to hold on because the work is not finished yet. He speaks of the precious gift of starting over. Because one of the most beautiful things about walking with him means no moment in a person's life is ever beyond the possibility of a fresh start. He is the God of new beginnings, specializing in them. He loves them and wants everyone to embrace the truth that every single morning brings one. There's something in human nature that struggles to let go of yesterday. The failures of the past have a way of following people into the present and whispering that they define them, that what they did last year or last week or even yesterday is the truest summary of who they are. But that is not how he sees it. And it is not how he designed life to work. Every morning the sun rises as a declaration from him that time is moving forward, that what was does not have to determine what is. The person who wakes up today is being given another opportunity, another set of hours, another chance to choose differently, to begin again, to turn toward him and let him lead them somewhere they have not been before. He is not holding their past against them. He is not keeping a record of the days they did not get it right. He is not waiting for them to accumulate enough good choices before agreeing to move forward with them. He is ready right now in this very moment with exactly who they are today. Not yesterday, not the version of them from their worst season, but today's version, the one listening to these words. The one who is here to begin again, as many times as it takes. That is not a failure of character. That is the courage of someone who refuses to let a stumble become a surrender. Every single person who has ever walked closely with him has had to begin again more than once, sometimes more than 100 times. Beginning again is not the mark of weakness. It is the mark of someone who understands that God is bigger than their mistakes and willing to prove it. So let today be the beginning. Whatever it is they have been putting off, whatever return they have been delaying, whatever surrender they have been resisting, let today be the day. Not because conditions are perfect, not because they feel ready, but because he is here. He is enough, and the door is open. He is calling them to come and begin. He wants to speak now about the secret struggles, the ones they have never said out loud to another human being, the ones that live in the quietest corner of their heart, and that they have carried alone for so long. They have begun to feel like a permanent part of them. The addiction that no one knows about, the anger that frightens them when it rises, the thoughts that come uninvited and that they cannot seem to stop, the habit they keep returning to, even though they have promised themselves and promised him 100 times that this would be the last time. He knows about all of it, every single thing, and he is not telling them this to shame them. He is telling them because knowing has not changed how he feels about them. They have not surprised him, nor have they disappointed him to a point of giving up on them. The things they have hidden from everyone else, the parts of themselves that feel too dark or too broken or too embarrassing to bring into the light, are not hidden from him and are not beyond him. The secret struggle has power precisely because it is secret. The darkness has strength because it lives in hiding. But when they bring it into his presence, into the light of his love and his grace, something shifts. It does not always vanish immediately. He is honest about that. But it begins to lose the grip it has had on them in the dark. It begins to be seen for what it actually is, not the enormous, defining, shameful thing it pretended to be while hidden, but a wound that needs tending, a broken place that needs healing, a need that was met in the wrong way, which can now be met in the right one. He asks for the secret, not tomorrow, now in the privacy of this moment before anyone else has to know, just between them and him to speak it, to lay it down and let him have it. He did not let his son go through everything he went through just so they would have to keep carrying that thing alone. That is what the cross was for. That is what grace is for. It was always for this exact moment, for this exact thing for them, with this specific struggle. It is enough. He promises it is more than enough. Now he speaks about joy because he does not want this message to only live in the heavy places. He wants to talk about what is on the other side of all this surrender, trust, and returning. He wants to talk about what awaits them when they truly let him in. Not just into the painful places, but into every room of their life. He wants to talk about joy, not happiness. Happiness is weather dependent. Happiness rises and falls with their circumstances. A good day produces it. A hard day takes it away. He is not talking about that. He is talking about something deeper and more durable. A kind of joy that is not sourced in what is happening around them, but in who is with them in the middle of it. A joy that can coexist with difficulty without pretending the difficulty is not real. A joy that says this is hard, yet they are held. This hurts, and they are not alone. This is uncertain, yet they are not afraid, because they know the one who holds the future in his hands. That joy is available to them. It is not reserved for a certain type of person or a certain level of spiritual achievement. It is not something they earn, manufacture, or perform their way into. It is a gift freely given to anyone who chooses to walk in genuine relationship with him. Anyone who opens the door of their life and invites him in all the way. Anyone who stops trying to maintain control of everything and begins to trust the one who is always meant to carry it. He wants them to know joy that surprises them in the middle of a difficult day. Joy that rises up in their chest for no explainable reason, reminding them that life is a gift and they are loved and things are going to be okay. Joy that makes people around them wonder what they know that others do not know. Joy that is contagious. Joy that becomes the language through which other people start to ask them about him. That is what is waiting for them on the other side of surrender. Not a perfect life. Not the absence of problems, but a fullness, a richness, a depth of inner life that makes even the hard days feel bearable, and even the ordinary days feel sacred. That is what he is offering them. That is what he has been trying to give them all along. He calls them to receive it. Stop standing at the door and let him in. Let him all the way in. Every room, even the ones they have been keeping locked. Especially those, because the locked rooms are where the real transformation waits. And transformation is the beginning of joy. He wants to close this section of their time together by speaking to something that he feels deeply in this moment. He wants to speak about how proud he is of them. Not for what they have done, though he sees their efforts, and they matters to God, but rather for who you are becoming. For the fact that you are still here, reaching out, listening, and willing to believe that there's more to this life than your past experiences. That is no small thing in a world that tries to pull people away from him. The fact that you are still here, still willing to hear his voice, still open to the possibility that he is real, that he loves you, and that there is a purpose for your life. That is something. He celebrates something that deeply moves his heart. He wants you to know he is proud of how you kept going when giving up would have been easier. He is proud of the prayers you whispered in the dark, not knowing if anyone was listening. He is proud of the times you chose kindness, even while you were hurting. He is proud of how you loved others, even when you felt unloved yourself. He treasures every quiet act of faithfulness that went unnoticed by the world, but was fully seen by him. You have never been invisible to God, not for a single moment. Every step you have taken, even the stumbling ones, including those in the wrong direction that had to be painfully retraced. He has seen them all. He is still here, still calling your name still, running towards you, far more interested in your future than in your past. He is still full of plans for your life, far better than anything you have ever dared to imagine. Go forward as his child, fully loved, known, and held. Step forward with the unshakable confidence that the creator of the universe made you stands with you and is on your side. That is no small starting place. It is the most powerful foundation you can have. A single act of kindness can help God's message reach those who need hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can support this mission through the PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping spread God's love one soul at a time. He wants to comfort those among us who feel invisible, those who wonder if anyone truly sees them, the ones whose efforts go completely unnoticed by others, whose needs are overlooked, and whose voices fade into the constant noise of a world that is always talking but rarely listening. Those who could slip quietly out of a room, wondering if anyone would notice. He sees you, not in the distant way a passive observer watches creation from afar. He sees you the way a parent holds a beloved child. He knows your deepest details, the exact sound of your laugh and how your face changes when holding back your tears. He knows the very thoughts you had this morning before anyone else woke up. He knows the dreams you hold so carefully, never speaking them aloud, because you are terrified of what it would mean if they never came true. He knows everything about you, and he wants you to hear him say directly and personally, without any doubt, that you matter to him, not as a category or a face in the crowd. You, with your unique life and specific name, matter deeply to God. The way you show love matters to him. Your quiet faithfulness, which goes unnoticed by others, matters to him. The prayers you whispered in the darkness, heard by no one else, matter to him. Every little detail of your life done in love and quiet faithfulness is treasured. Trust matters deeply to him. To God, no one is ever truly invisible. The world misses so much, routinely overlooking the quiet and the gentle. It rushes past the faithful and humble, applauding only the loud and prominent. It forgets that the most vital work in this world is often done in secret. But God never forgets. He sees every cup of water offered, every kind word shared, and every act of service done without recognition. He treasures them. Not one is lost, not one is ever wasted. There is a day coming when everything done in secret will be brought into the light. The full measure of your faithfulness will be revealed in its grand, astonishing sum. Until then, God asks you to trust that being seen by him is truly enough. His gaze is the most complete and profound love we can ever experience. You are fully seen right now in this moment by the one whose sight matters most. He offers one more truth before we conclude this message. He wants to speak of hope. Real hope, not the baby wishful thinking that crosses its fingers and simply waits to see what happens. Not the fragile optimism that shatters when circumstances go wrong. He is speaking of hope as a deep, anchored confidence in who he is and what he has promised. Hope is no mere feeling. It is a deliberate choice to believe that the future is not defined by the darkness of the present moment. It is looking beyond what is visible to see what is possible. It is the willingness to hold on to his word even when everything in life seems to contradict it. And that kind of hope never disappoints. It is not because circumstances always cooperate with it, but because the hope itself, the choice to trust God when trusting is hard, transforms a person from within. It anchors and stabilizes you, providing a foundation that no storm can shake. For it is rooted not in fleeting circumstances, but in God's character. And his character never changes. He is the same God who parted the sea, fed the multitude, and raised the dead. He is the same God who appeared in fire in a still small voice, and in burning bushes and night dreams. He remains the same God who has been faithful to every generation that has ever placed their trust in him. And he is that same God for you right now, in whatever you face. So, choose hope. Not naively, not by pretending trials do not exist, but actively, deliberately, with full awareness of the struggle. Choose to believe that he is greater than any obstacle. Believe that your story is not over. Choose to believe that the ending is already written, that it is beautiful, and you are in it, because you are God promises you that. As his beloved child, before we reach the end of this message, he speaks to you one final time from the very center of his heart. Every single word shared today has been building toward this. It is the simplest and most profound truth, and he wants you to carry it with you long after this moment. He loves you not as a vague statement about humanity, nor as a dry theological concept. He loves you by your name with your story, and through every complicated, beautiful, and broken piece of your soul. He loves you as only a creator can love what he has made with his own hands, with the full knowledge of who you are, the cost and the full joy of knowing what they were made for. They are not a burden to him. They are not too much, nor are they too broken or far gone or too complicated. They belong to him, and he protects his own. He fights for what is his, never giving up on them. So, like a loving father, he asks them once again today, with all the tenderness he has to offer, to give him something. Not their performance, nor their polished version. Not the person who has everything figured out. He wants their heart, the real one underneath. All the layers of defense and pretense. The heart that still hopes, even though hope has caused pain before. The one that still reaches out, even though reaching has sometimes left them empty-handed. He asks for that heart, promising by his very essence that he will not disappoint them. He will fill their hollow places and heal their wounds. He will restore the joy stolen from them, giving them a peace that does not make sense by earthly logic. He will open doors that no one can shut. He will shut doors that would have destroyed them, even if at the time it felt like a loss. He will walk beside them through every mundane Tuesday and every extraordinary crisis with the same closeness, the same faithfulness, and the same profound love. He is not offering them a religion but a relationship. He does not offer them rules but rest. He is not demanding their performance, but offering his actual presence, his life, in theirs, and theirs in his. This is the invitation of his heart to theirs today. Come home not someday, not when things settle down or when they feel more ready, but right now, this exact moment, just as they are. He calls his beloved child home, having waited so long. Every time they step through that door, heaven celebrates them. They are so deeply loved, always have been and always will be loved. Nothing can change that, nothing can strip it away. Today, he asks them to believe it, not just in their head, but deep in their heart, letting it all the way in. He wants it to steady them when everything else around them shifts, letting his love be enough. Because it is enough, always has been, and always will be. He is with them. He is for them. He is proud of them. And he is not finished with them. The best is still ahead, so they can walk forward in that. Walk forward in love. Walk forward in trust, knowing that the one who created them is right beside them, never going anywhere. That is his promise to them, and he never breaks his word. He loves his child forever and always. Now they are sent to carry this, sharing it with anyone in need, letting the light they receive today become the beacon that guides another soul home, because that is how his love moves through the world, not in grand gestures, but in the simple, courageous act of one beloved child saying to another, "You are not alone. Come and see the one who loves us both." He tells them to go in peace, strength, and his love returning tomorrow, because he will have something new to say to them then, as he always does.